Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to run you through how my dividend portfolio has performed in the month of May. So I'm going to run through the overall performance, any dividends received, individual news for all the stocks that might have affected it, and I'm going to look through something new today, which is the intrinsic value of each stock, and that'll be it. But please remember, anything in this video is not financial advice, and it is just for information and entertainment purposes only. But let's jump right into the video. So if we look at the overall dividend pie performance, I invested my usual £30 into the stock, which was spread across the 10 stocks, 10% equally. And as you can see, over the last month, it is down 0.9% or 80 pence. Flat month really, not going to complain. But if we take a look at the dividends I received for the month of May, I got 3 payments. 2 was from my monthly payers, which was Whitestone REIT and Agree Realty Income. So they are both REITs. And then the third one was from my Gladstone Capital. But if we look forward to the month of June, it is one of my bigger paying months. So I am due to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 payments from companies. I've already had the target one. I just need to load that in the database. But as you can see, June is my second highest paying month, so it'll be interesting to see them start rolling in. It's quite good seeing them rolling in. So yeah, for the month of May, I've gained 10 pence in dividends. For the month of June, I'm expected to get 44 pence in dividends. So let's look into each stock individually. So Agree Realty Income has been down 2% over the last month, and my position overall is now down 3.4%. But I don't mind. We'll get on the value later. I do think it's a strong REIT overall, so I don't mind. But in terms of news, dividend increased by 2.4%, and in their quarter one earnings, they beat both revenue and earnings per share. So that's quite positive for Agree Realty. If we move on to Chevron, you can see that it is up 1% over the last month. My total investment is down 0.3%, but it's mainly the FX impact that is causing this. Otherwise, I would be up 2% overall. If we look at the news, there is some major news for Chevron. So they are cutting 800 jobs in Texas to reduce its workforce. At one of the shareholder meetings, it rejected proposals for a third-party report on its human rights practices. Whether that's reading that what you want, either they're hiding something or they just don't feel the need to do that. They terminated a Venezuelan contract which was due to end anyway. It was due to licenses and restrictions under the new government, but they are keeping the workforce there, so I do wonder if they're going to try and find another solution. And it remains confident that it will win its arbitration dispute over the acquisition of Hess. So if that does happen, I imagine the stock will go up a little bit, but quite a bit of news for Chevron there. Overall, I don't think there's anything personally for me to be concerned about, but that's just me. If we look at Gladstone Capital, over the last month it is up 4%. Overall, my investment is down 4% and 3.5%, and that is the FX impact. In terms of news, there was very minimal news yet again. So we saw a 1.8% decrease in total investments quarter over quarter. But yeah, nothing major to be worried about. And that's just ticking along quite nice. If we move on to Manulife Financial, it is up 1.3% over last month. My total investment now is up 3%. Would be up 6.5% if you take off the FX impact, but that's something you've got to deal with when you're investing in American stocks. News wise, it intends to issue $500 million in debentures, which are due by 2035. I believe the interest on them was going to be 3.35 or 3.5%, so that allows companies to borrow from them, and their quarter one earnings per share beat expectations by 1 cent. So pretty much in line with what's expected, and that's okay with me. Like I say, this one's just ticking along and I'm happy with Manulife Financial. Next up, we've got Merck, which is down 7.5% overall. My total investment is down 3%. FX taking most of the impact as well, but there's been some news over Merck. So there was positive phase 3 test results for a drug that reduces disease progression for breast cancer. So if that gets all the way through the approvals, that'll be quite good. They received FDA approval to treat rare tumours, and they announced a $895 million investment in a manufacturing facility for animal health. So that's quite good. Poor performance, but I think a lot of the healthcare stocks have been down just from what Trump has been saying and the tariffs. So there's nothing really in terms of their performance that has caused it to go down. It is more just reacting to the news and tariffs, I think. So I'm not worried about this one either. Another healthcare stock which is actually up this month by 2.9% is Novo Nordisk. So overall my total investment is up 5%, 7% if you take off the FX impact. But news on this is they are collaborating with LifeMD for a discounted Wegovy bundle. So this is one of their fat loss drugs. In quarter one, they beat earnings per share and revenue, but lowered sales growth projections for the next year. And the CEO is stepping down due to recent performance. So if we look over the last year, it is down 50%. And as a result, they will be getting a new CEO. I haven't seen any news around that yet. Hopefully they get someone who's got a good track record in the pharmaceuticals business and a good track record of being a CEO, because I think that'll boost the stock and get them performing well again. But yeah, overall positive from Novo Nordisk. If we look at Qualcomm, they've had quite a good month, so they are up 6%. My total investment now is up 1%, but as you can guess, FX impact taking its effect. So news for Qualcomm, they are launching a data center CPU that will link with NVIDIA chips. There's been no further comment on it yet by NVIDIA or Qualcomm, but that was some news that was released. And they are partnering with a company called E&D on 5G development in the United Arab Emirates, and they also have something going on in Saudi Arabia, I believe. Obviously there's a lot of AI investment in the Middle East at the minute, and they seem to be getting involved in that, which is very, very positive. The next stock I want to talk about is Target, which as you can see has had a bit of a roller coaster month, but it's down 1.5%, and I am down 1%. The FX has put me in the negative, but it had a very poor earnings, so it missed their earnings per share and revenue expectations, and they also had cautious guidance due to tariffs, so it missed on that aspect. But they do plan to invest up to $5 billion to revamp stores and improve technology within the stores. So whilst they are seeing declining sales, I still think they're a solid company, and I think we'll just see what the turnaround is over the next few years. At the minute, I'm not concerned. The next stock in this pie is Vici Properties, which has been flat over the last month. Overall, I'm down 2.5%. There's no major news on this. Obviously, REITs would have performed better if the Fed have put down rates, but they haven't. So the monthly debt repayments are still quite high. The second the Fed rates go down, the margins should get better as they're paying back less in debt. But quite stagnant for Vici. And that is the same for Whitestone REIT, so that's down 2.5%. Overall, this is the worst investment. I am now down 11%. 3.5% of that comes from the FX, but that all is included in the price. I am actually considering swapping this for a British company, but I might get onto that next month. At this point, I haven't bought it, still doing my research. But yeah, that is what's happening with the stocks news individually. And the last thing I wanted to go into was the intrinsic values of every stock in this pie. So I'm using a website called AlphaSpread, which allows you to see the intrinsic value of all of the companies. So as we can see, 8 out of 10 stocks based on the intrinsic value are undervalued, and I am happy with that. I don't just use this as my basis, but it's a good site to see roughly where you're sat at. And the two that are overvalued are two of my REITs. So Whitestone REIT, which is 22% overvalued, and Agree Realty Corporation, which is 8% overvalued. But as I say, I'm looking at Whitestone REIT, and that might be replaced next month. But Agree Realty, I don't mind. It is a strong business that I want to keep investing in. So that one's going to stay. But I think it's quite interesting just to look at this and understand how the valuation of the company compares to the stats. But yeah, it's a brilliant little website. But that has been it for my May dividend portfolio review. Let me know how you performed over the last month. I am quite interested to see how your dividend portfolios are and what your top picks are for the last month. So your best performers or your new investments, I'd be interested to know. But if you have enjoyed, please subscribe, as I am on the road to 1,000 subs. Leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.